Hello, my name is Ryan Harden. We're here with Coach Hong, coach of CSE volleyball. How are you today?
Doing all right, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good. We're here to interview about volleyball.
Definitely.
What are your expectations for this upcoming girls' season?
So this upcoming girls' season is going to be a really interesting season because we actually lost 3 seniors to graduation. Our 3 seniors, out of the 3 of them, 2 of them started. One of them was a all-area or an all-conference setter. The other person actually ended up contributing in the front row in terms of hitting in both defense and the back row. We have a good crop of girls that are coming into the program, so a lot of new freshman faces that you're going to be seeing on the court this upcoming fall. We have a very, very strong defense and a very, very strong passing core, so it's going to be very difficult for teams to put a ball down on us. What we're going to do is our strategy is going to be winning through attrition. We want to be able to outlast other teams. In terms of our hitting, we have Yasmineh Mohammed, who's coming back. She is also recognized as one of the all-NEAC third-team players. And she's a freshman this year, so when she comes back next year, she'll be a sophomore. The team's actually been working really hard in the off season. Right now, we're running spring practices, and we are also doing weight room training sessions with them. So we actually should see a good amount of growth.
And what brought you here to CSE?
So CSE actually is the one thing that brought me to CSE was the people. The people that we work with are some of the best people that you can imagine to work with. I have a good cohort of coaches that I work with. Every single one of them is extremely experienced, but one of the persons who I'm extremely pleased to work with is Julian Simpson. She was a former Olympic athlete, played in the 1976 Olympic Games. She's a silver medalist, and she represented the United States, was one of the first women to actually represent us in terms of the basketball sport itself and to bring that medal home. So I pick her brain on a regular basis, and a lot of things that happen with coaching and stuff like that, I actually end up bouncing ideas off her and basically getting a lot of my philosophy from where she comes from as well.
And you're also the coach of the men's team.
Yes, I am.
What are your expectations for them?
So the men's team is actually going to be interesting because it's our first team. It's our first time running a team. Our men's season is set to kick off in December of this year. That's when our practices will start. Because men's season is a hybrid spring/winter sport or winter/spring sport, we're actually looking for a bunch of guys who will basically contribute in terms of being open to learning, being open to growing. We're actually going to have a few growth spurts that growing pains going on because we are going to be a group of freshmen and sophomores who are going to compete with juniors and seniors throughout the conference. The NEAC conference is actually one of the more competitive conferences. We actually compete with Kiyuka. We also have the Uville and Hilbert as schools. But as a whole, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for our guys to be competitive. So when I say competitive, I don't mean that we're going for 500. It could just mean that we're getting out in the court and we're bringing every single set right down to the wire. 25, 22, 23, 25, stuff like that. So.
And what is your coaching philosophy, and how is it different than other coaches?
So when I first started coaching, my coaching philosophy was play the best players. We'll play the players who are the most talented. That's changed over the years. With over 12 years of experience in coaching, I can say my philosophy right now has been to just solely focus on kids who work hard. If you're a hard worker, you're going to play no matter what. And I want to drill that into my guys. The other thing is I want to drill in competitiveness. So being competitive. So I just have 3 rules. Number 1, work hard. Number 2, be competitive. And number 3, work hard. So those are my philosophies. I take a lot of my philosophies from other coaches that are out there. Gino Auriemma, I'm a big fan of him and the UConn women's basketball team. I'm a big fan of Lou Holtz and the former Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He used to say that in order for you to win stood for WIN, what's important now. And you got to be able to focus on the present. Also with Anson Dorrance, who is the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Tar Heels women's national champions. They actually won 23 NCAA championships for a long span of time, and he actually has one of the records for that. His mentality was to run a cauldron, and when you run a cauldron, you're basically competing with other girls or other guys, and you're trying to beat out your teammates, and at the same time you have that friendly camaraderie. So, Ryan, you're going to be playing for me. So what I would expect you to do is you're going to get out there and you're going to give everybody your best, and you're also going to be competitive as well. So if somebody manages to one-up you, you're going to come back and you're going to try to one-up them. But it's all in good fun though, and I think for most of the time we drill that into our athletes that it's okay to get beat, but at the same time it's not okay to dwell on that. So we want to move past from that. But that's my philosophy.
You also an assistant for the women's. How's it like working with the same coach for both teams?
Well, Coach Rod is actually a really interesting character. I've actually known Coach Rod for about 11 or 12 years now. Coach Rod was the person that actually taught me how to coach volleyball, and it's funny because you can play and you can go to coaching clinics and stuff like that, but unless you start bouncing ideas from other people and really trying to get a feel for who you are as a person, who you are as an athlete, really what it comes down to is she's a good coach and she's a good teacher. She's very good with handling emotions. She's very good with understanding the sport, understanding strategy. And when I'm about to say something, she will finish my sentences and vice versa. We're both very supportive of each other. If I have to argue with her, or if I have a gripe, or I have to make a case for something, I know that I'm not going to get in trouble just for voicing my opinion. She and we have some conflict every once in a while, and it is healthy conflict. There's a big difference between unhealthy conflict and healthy conflict. Healthy conflict is you bring something up to your superior. And in this season, the girls' season, she is my superior, and I'm able to communicate that with her. But in the men's season, I will be the head coach, and she will bring things up to me. It is actually really unique and interesting that CSE has allowed us to do that, because this is what's good about it. You have two head coaches, essentially, that are coaching one team. When you go out and you see other teams that are coaching or getting coached, they are usually coached by one person who is a head coach and another person who is an assistant coach. Or they have one person who's a head coach and they have many assistant coaches or volunteer coaches. But at CSE, because we are both very, very, very understanding of each other's philosophies, you have two head coaches who can train the exact same way and can get remarkable results.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And good luck this year.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.